Disney Theory. Aladdin takes place 10,000 years in the future. Disney theories are the best. We love looking at our classic favorites in a new light. This theory about Aladdin is a fan favorite. Stick around until the end to see how important Jasmine's attitude is to this theory. New to the things? Hit the subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. Now, let's jump right into the theory. Okay, so we know you love Aladdin. We all do. It's one of the best films to come out of the Disney Renaissance in the 1990s. It has it all. Big musical numbers, daring adventure, and a love story for the ages. The princess is strong and beautiful, and the animals are all adorable and super smart. Plus, everyone loves Genie. He's probably the most hilarious Disney character ever written.
Nice to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, where are you from? What's your name?
Aladdin is definitely a masterpiece. You've probably watched it over and over, right? Well, get ready to see this film in a whole new light. What if we told you Aladdin didn't take place in an ancient city? What if the movie is set 10,000 years in the future? It may seem like a stretch, but once you consider all of the evidence, the case is clear. What evidence, do you ask? Well, let's start with Genie. At the beginning of the film, Genie is dramatically woken from the lamp. The first thing he says is that he's been asleep for 10,000 years.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Sure, he's a magical genie, so maybe his perception of time is different from ours. Let's assume for a minute that Genie experiences time the same way we do. If he spent 10,000 years in the lamp, then the film must take place 10,000 years after the last thing Genie remembers. To guess exactly when this story is happening, we have to look closely at all of the things Genie talks about. He definitely makes some comments and statements that suggest he's been around in our modern world. When Aladdin wishes to be made into a prince, Genie gives him an epic makeover. There really aren't enough man makeovers in Disney films, so this scene is amazing.
That fez and vest combo is much too 3rd century.
Genie gets a little critical of Aladdin's look. He tells him his fez and vest combo is a little bit too 3rd century. So we know that Genie has seen men's fashion in the 3rd century. We know Genie was asleep for 10,000 years, so that means the earliest Aladdin could possibly be set is 10,300. That's just the tip of the sand dune. Genie gives even more hints that the film takes place well after the 20th century. He makes reference to a ton of mainstream movies, shows, books, and actors from the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. How could Genie know who Jack Nicholson is if he hasn't lived through the modern era? How could he impersonate Arnold Schwarzenegger if he'd never seen him act? He couldn't. It's simply obvious that Genie is very well versed in 20th century entertainment. That means that the earliest year the movie could take place is 11,970. If you want to get even more specific, Genie's references seem to end with the early 1990s. He doesn't know about the royal wedding or smartphones. Is this because the apocalypse happened in 1992? According to the math in this theory, that means the film must be set in 11,992. Disney released the film 1 year after the Gulf War. Is it possible that this is an alternate universe in which the Desert Skirmish escalated into World War III? Disney creators have said the movie setting is based on Iraq. That could mean a Gulf War tie-in is real. Were the bombs seen in the video game a hint? Genie actually drops his first clue that it's the future in the first scene. The movie opens on a desert merchant. Aladdin's director Ron Clements has already confirmed the fan theory that the merchant is Genie in disguise. I mean, come on, he had 4 fingers and the same corny jokes. The creators planned for the merchant to reveal himself at the end of the film, but they cut the scene in the editing. He offers the audience Tupperware. Tupperware was invented in 1946. This proves that Genie experienced the modern world. During the song Never Had a Friend Like Me, Genie references tons of things from the modern world. He turns himself into a slot machine. Those weren't invented until 1895. He also turns his tail into a microphone. The style of the microphone he creates wasn't seen until the 1960s. Genie creates a Vegas-style sign moments after meeting Aladdin for the first time. He's obviously familiar with neon lights, light bulbs, and electricity. He references fireworks, the modern boxing ring, sneakers, and cars. There's no way he could have guessed that those things would have been invented with such accuracy. Some fans have argued that Genie knows about all of this futuristic stuff because he can see into the future. The film makes it clear that he can't. Genie and Aladdin have an agreement. Genie will grant his wishes only if he uses his last wish to set Genie free. Genie has no idea Aladdin has no intentions to set him free.
I'll do it. I'll set you free. Yeah, right.
He also doesn't see it coming when Aladdin tricks him into a free wish when he bets him that he can't get Aladdin out of the Cave of Wonders. Genie is totally shocked and had no idea what had hit him. His jaw was literally dropped. If he could see into the future, he wouldn't have been so shocked. So, what was the catastrophic event that wiped out most of civilization and sent humanity back to the Bronze Age? If you've played the official video game, you might have seen a clue. If you watch the background carefully, Agrabah is a wasteland. Aladdin walks by dunes filled with human skeletons. In one scene, it looks like there's an atomic bomb in the desert. There are also 20th century road signs in the background. What about the Cave of Wonders? Could this have been an underground bomb shelter? It seems to be filled with gold, which is something modern survivalists stockpile. It would make sense to create a hoard of universally valuable things if there was a threat of nuclear war. Gold could be used in any culture to trade for other goods in an emergency. Inside the cave, there seems to be a lot of advanced technology as well. The entrance rises up out of the desert as if it's enchanted. What if it isn't magic, but machinery that makes the cave appear? Inside the cave, Aladdin finds carpet. The film tries to pass him off as magic, but we're not buying it. Carpet is actually long-lost hover technology. What happened to the rest of the world? During the magic carpet ride, Aladdin and Jasmine seem to visit half of the known world. The amount of distance they cover would be absolutely impossible in one night. It's a magic carpet that flies, not Santa's sled. If this theory is true, then Genie created all of those locations from memory. He gave the pair a romantic memory, but none of it was real. This suggests that maybe those places didn't survive the catastrophe. At the end of the movie, Genie leaves to travel the world. In the sequel, he returns a few minutes later. He claims to have been to Disneyland and has loads of souvenirs for his friends. Supporters of the future theory claim that Genie left Agrabah and found the rest of the world in shambles. He couldn't bear to share that news, so he made a bunch of fake gifts to convince everyone that the world was still out there. Agrabah's culture gives us a clue that the film is set in the future too. It's obvious that the movie is set in the Middle East. We can tell based on the language, architecture, and various cultural references. One thing we don't see that we would expect in the ancient Middle East is Islam. This ancient religion seems to be missing from the movie. We don't see any mosques in Agrabah. Jasmine is also showing her midriff and allowing her hair to be seen by a stranger. At no point does anyone participate in the prayers that happen several times a day in an Islamic country. The characters do make reference to Allah.
Praise Allah!
This shows that they know about the religion, but that society has long ago relaxed its rules. Agrabah's animals seem to have been affected by some kind of global event too. In one scene, the fish at the market are just comically huge. This could be a mutation after the fish were exposed to radiation or fallout from a bomb. Mutations might explain why Iago can speak. He doesn't just talk up a storm in his awful voice, he regenerates too. After we've seen Jafar burn Iago, his feathers seem to have grown back at an alarming rate. Iago isn't alone in his uniqueness. Raja seems to be able to communicate with Jasmine. There are a few futuristic explanations for this. It's possible that Raja is also a radiation mutant. Or maybe Jasmine has a high-tech translator. Could those huge gold earrings be helping her understand her best friend? Abu is another great example of how advanced the animals in this world seem. Monkeys are smart, but Abu regularly outsmarts adult humans. That's not easy for any animal. He seems to mimic speech and has no problem communicating with Aladdin. Jasmine herself is a huge clue about what era the movie takes place in. We've talked about how her uncovered hair and exposed midriff just don't jive with the culture or religion of the Middle East. She even seems to be wearing makeup in the movie. It's not just her appearance that points to the film taking place in the future. Jasmine's attitudes are extremely modern for a woman raised in the Middle East.
Standing around deciding my future? I am not a prize to be won.
She's independent, defiant, and stubborn. Those are all of our favorite things about the princess. We wouldn't change any part of her. It would be unthinkable for a Middle Eastern princess in the ancient past to defy her father. There would be grave, possibly even fatal consequences. A princess of the past would marry whomever she was told to and not bat an eyelash. Jasmine seems horrified by the idea of an arranged marriage. She wants to marry for love, which is a very modern concept. Maybe she's so forward-thinking because she actually lives in the future. A future where Islam is a casual religion and women in the Middle East are empowered to speak their mind. Perhaps the most interesting part of this theory is that all of the magic in Agrabah is actually advanced technology, including Genie himself. You heard it? Some fans think that Genie is actually some kind of holographic android. If he was programmed with a catalog of human history that would explain all of the references. If this part of the theory is real, that means he's able to create advanced simulations as well. The parade for Prince Ali, the magic carpet ride around the world, these were all just holograms. It's possible that any AI that powerful could have been designed as a guardian of future humanity and their histories. Does he hold the information the people of Agrabah need to rebuild? Is he there to help them rediscover electricity, cars, and more? So, there you have it. Disney fans have been taking notes. They paid attention to the clues in both the movie and the official video game. After careful observation, they put the facts together. The world nearly came to an end after an apocalyptic event. Agrabah is one of the last places on Earth with civilization. Genie is a powerful artificial intelligence that can create convincing simulations. The animals of the world have been mutated or evolved into highly advanced new creatures. Shreds of the old world can still be found for those who look carefully. So, what do you think of this theory? Is Aladdin set in a futuristic dystopia? Or are the fans reaching a little too far this time? Maybe we can all agree that this fan theory is way more plausible than Jafar being a good guy. That one really is too far out there. We hope you loved this Disney theory. We'll see you in the future.